Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the DubCast. Today we'll be talking about Survivor, Season 46, Episode 9, titled Spicy Jeff. And this season has really turned it around, man. Another good episode. Um, Full spoilers ahead. Hunter was the one who went home tonight in a crazy kind of vote, so we're going to break that all down, break down everything in the episode, and then at the end I'll give my top three to win and my top three who will be out next week, or who I think could be out next week. So diving right in from last week, we start at the camp again, where we have the fallout from last week of Q wanting to quit at tribal council. And of course everyone's upset, everyone's all mad, but then my boy Q, he's apparently he's legit about this. This was a legitimate thing, which I like believe him. Just the way he's been playing. I mean, he said this thing before in the challenge when he screwed up on earlier in the game. He's like, if I lose and I'm the one who caused this loss, like vote me out. So I believe he thinks he really like did something wrong here in the scramble with Hunter and Tevin. Or I guess Tevin didn't know about the vote, but with Hunter to screw things up at the last second, where they're all scrambling at the last minute. They scramble again this episode. So I mean, I think he just takes these kind of things that happen in the game personally, and he attaches them to himself and tries to think that, or it's just his kind of code of honor, for lack of a better term. That's just how he thinks about the game and how he thinks about himself. If he feels like he did something wrong, he's gonna put his hand up and say that vote me out, get me out of here, which is respectable, but is also just not good gameplay. And we see that play out here, where literally everybody's pissed off at him. Especially Tiffany gets up in his grill. Q's just laying on the boat by himself. They're all like, "What the fuck, dude?" At the fire, and Q's just laying on the boat. And Tiffany comes up to him, and they start getting into an argument, which I think is a fair thing to be mad at Q at from Tiffany's perspective. I mean, you're supposed to be these close allies, and he's telling other people about your idol. Obviously, not a good move by Q there. Won't back up that decision, but I just love. This reminds me of like Sarah and Tony and Worlds or Winners at War after the tribal. When Sophie gets voted out, they're just fucking screaming at each other after tribal. I love these after tribal fights. Let's bring some fire. Let's bring some energy. Let's bring some drama. That's what I'm here for. So appreciated that scene. And then we go back to Q. He's like, I'm going to have to pull a miracle. What a miracle worker Q is, dude. This is like the comeback story of David versus Goliath. Everyone's against him. I'm seated for it, bro. I think he has no shot to win the game, but every round Q is here is a good round of Survivor. Fuck it. I loved it. What else? Yeah, and then we get fucking Liz, bro. Liz is crying about, this is not my move. Oh, Q did all these antics. Dude, this is going to come up again, but all these people in this fucking season, have you watched a New Era season, bro? Every time you claim a move, you are out next. This is the meta of the game. Why do you want a move at Final 10? You have like 6 or 7 more rounds of gameplay. Who cares if it's your move? You have all this time to think about your final tribal council speech. Bro, what you want to do is take no credit for the move. You want to be involved, like Gabler, be fucking under the covers or whatever. This is not good gameplay. Like, you do not want to own these moves. They're already, even in this episode, we'll get into it later, but people were doing theoretical moves, and then they were already getting upset with them as a big target for moving forward because of a theoretical move they made. Like, this is not how you play, Liz. You are in a good spot. You just masterminded a move and no one cares because Q pulled semantics. I mean, I know it'll probably seem tough, girl, at the in the moment, but this is good for you, honey. You need to chill out, okay? Don't cry. I know you haven't eaten shit in 72 hours. Maybe I'm attacking you for no reason. Well, I'm attacking you for a reason, but maybe I'm being a little too harsh. But quit the crying, okay? This is good for you. Okay. Now that we have that up, okay, fucking Ben is annoying. Literally, Ben's whole personality is just like hating Q at this point and saying something rocks or doesn't rock, or I rock with that. I'm out on Ben, bro. I don't like Ben. What? Yeah, like, dude, you don't care about the game, bro. He doesn't have a strategic boning his body, and he's all like, "Oh, Q ruined everyone's game, and oh, this doesn't rock." Shut up. We get Venus just clocking Q and Hunter. She's like, "If you write my name down, you're out next, and girl, you're not Jam Jam." But I love it. Venus still bringing the heat. She's another person upset with Q after last week. So moving on, we come back from commercial, I think, and we get the teams, and this is dumb. So someone brings the tree mail, and there's like 6 people sitting around the boat, and I guess I might have missed this watching it, but they're like, you need to split into 3 different teams. That being, the teams end up being Kenzie, Tiffany, and Ben, Hunter, Charlie, and Maria, Venus, Q, and Liz. So we get Ben seemingly, apparently, is like, let's just link up to Kenzie or to Tiffany, and she's like, yeah, I'm with it. And then Kenzie's like, me too. And then Hunter just picks Charlie and Maria, and that's it. And then Venus, Q, and Liz are left over as other group. Like, you gotta fight for your right in this game. Like, I mean, it's not like last season where there's like actual implications really, but I mean, I guess this is a decent draw for Q. Well, he doesn't even end up picking, but like Jeff says at the beginning of the challenge, like, you want people that you can beat in the challenge, but not like, I don't know. I feel like there should have been more strategic input here instead of just like picking whatever, and maybe this is part of Hunter's downfall. And yeah, we get funny confessionals from all 3 of the people who are left out of this decision. Q wants to cancel Christmas again, which, is there ever Christmas on Survivor, bro? I don't know what he's talking about, but give him hell, Q. Fucking love this guy. So then we get Q trying to pull this maneuver to get Charlie and Maria to throw the challenge, which is another dumb move. They're not going to throw the challenge, bro. They're trying to get immunity for themselves as well. This is their game. You can't just go up to somebody and be like, throw your game and try not to win a chance to be safe. Dumb move. And then we get this funny moment where Charlie's like, okay, Q, and they try and like fist bump and do a handshake, and it's like the total awkward bro moment where you're like, you go to dap somebody up and they have the fist out, or vice versa. It's just funny. Just thought that was a funny misconnection there. And then we cut. Another thing I found interesting was Maria being paranoid as hell. Everyone's talking behind your back. Okay, this is what you signed up for, Maria. This is Survivor. Everybody's talking about your back. Guess what? In life, everyone's talking about your back. Everyone's talking behind your back. That's life. You got to come to terms with it. Nobody's saying your name. I mean, Tiffany did last week, but nothing came of that. There's other big targets out there. You and Charlie are in the best spot in the game right now. You don't be worried. You got this, okay? I mean, this is the game. Everyone talking behind your back, so that kind of annoyed me from Maria. We get actually to the challenge, and we get Jeff trying to place a sports bet on the team to come in last in Q, Venus, and Liz, and he's wrong. Shocker. Jeff, do not get FanDuel, do not get DraftKings. You do not know what you're talking about. I guess it's kind of the start of the Spicy Jeff-ish thing, which is like a weird title for this episode because he wasn't really that spicy at all, but he kind of calls out their team and thinks they're going to lose, and he mentions that like 4 times in the challenge. Like, we get it. You aren't a good sports bettor. Moving on. So yeah, we end up in the challenge where it's kind of this thing. You have to like run across the beams, get a ball, dig a ball, throw the balls in the hoops, and it's in 3 different stages. The first team to lose is Kenzie's, Tiffany, and Ben's team, which I found ironic because they were the first team to link up together, and then they get sent to the bench. And then the other 2 teams are in the second part of the challenge where we get Kenzie, Tiffany, and Ben just openly rooting for Hunter and Charlie and Maria's team to win because they want Q to not be safe, which I found was funny because it's all like the sore losers mostly just Ben is all you can hear just chanting for Charlie and Maria and Hunter to win. So I thought that was funny. Hunter's kind of annoying me if I'm being honest. They get to the last part of the challenge where they're standing on a perch like this or whatever, and it's super hard. I mean, they're shaking. Maria goes out first, and then Hunter says this dumb thing about being the hunter and hunted, and I'm like, dude, like, I don't know. Hunter kind of lost me this episode. I mean, he's not really playing the game even. I mean, we saw him have to play last week, and we saw how that goes. He loses his number 1 ally, so I don't know. I think Hunter's overrated, but he'll probably be a returnee because he's from Mississippi and he builds all the challenges. Like, I don't know. I was over Hunter this episode. That he kind of lost me here. So we get the final two in the challenge, which is Hunter versus Charlie again, which is a funny like duo of people to be going back and forth in an immunity challenge. Hunter ends up losing at the last second. I mean, these freaking guys were just shaking, like their legs were shaking. Super hard challenge. Everyone's in pain. I got respect for Charlie. Charlie, I think, is also pretty cringy, but I'm starting to respect him. That was a good win for him. And mad respect for the win. Painful challenge. So yeah, moving on. There's no like journey thing where they have to go and try and win their vote back. I thought that was a really good decision from production and Jeff to not have any implications in this challenge. Last year was stupid where like the last three teams lose their vote and then they have to go on a journey and try and win it back, and then something happens to the second team and then the first team wins reward. I thought there could have been a reward in this episode maybe, but I guess there's just a lot of stuff to cover. So thought the challenge format was fine, improved from last season if they really want to do this group thing where they're in teams at the final 9 or 10 or something, or I forget what it was in 43, but in 44 I think it was at the final 9 there too maybe. Anyways, fine with it. Just don't make people lose their vote. The votes are the most fun thing in the game, so was fine with that. And then after that we go to camp where Kenzie out of nowhere shocks me and is like, let's go get Tiff to it's like a group of like Hunter, Charlie, Maria, I think maybe Venus, which this is too early. Final 9, this is like a final 6, final 5 move. Like this is, or I guess you can't do final 5 because she's an idol, but this is way too early to do this. And this kind of was my first negative thing with Kenzie. I thought this was a really dumb plan. Tiffany's someone who's rocking with you 100% right now, and you need numbers in a final 9 where like in these seasons where anything can just turn on you. I thought this was stupid by Kenzie. But then we get so this is another thing where she's let me continue on this point for a bit. So this is another thing where she's trying to be like, get this move under her belt and get a resume move, which is stupid. It's the final 9. Every time you do this, I'll say it again, you get voted out next week. So I mean, luckily for Kenzie, this plan ends up falling apart pretty quickly, but I just thought this was a really dumb idea and way too early. So yeah, for some reason they're like excluding Liz out of this vote to get Tiffany out, which I don't know, I thought was weird. Maybe there's something we're not seeing with Liz and Tiffany, but so that's the plan for now until we get Charlie goes up to Tiffany and is like, what do you think about tonight? Are you comfortable? She's like, I'm gonna play my idol. I just want it out there, which is smart. She does this smartly. I don't know if Hunter was intentionally trying to do this as well, but she's like, I'm playing it. I just want it out of my pocket. It's burning a hole in my pocket. Everyone knows about it. There's no point in me playing it, which I thought the way she went about it also was pretty smart, where she's like super chill about it, like nonchalant, like, yeah, I'm just gonna play it. Yeah, and I want it out here, and she doesn't end up playing it. Now she has an idol for next round, so I thought the way Tiffany played this round was super good. Props to her, and especially this conversation with Charlie. The way she came across was not threatening at all, so enjoyed that. Or I didn't enjoy it, but I give props to her for that. So, and then there's all these two-ish groups of thought where one group's going after Q. That group's like Venus, Liz, maybe Hunter. And Hunter they want to do this Tiffany blindside, but then Hunter gets all tweaked out. And then they're trying to get Hunter. I mean, there's like a formula. There's a plan also to go after Ben, but that doesn't really formulate either. They try and make a blindside because Hunter has his idol. Well, I'll get to the last. So the last minute scramble, basically, Hunter starts tweaking out, and he's like, I'm gonna play my idol tonight. So this like kind of causes chaos where there's like all these plans floating around, and I love Venus was like, Mayday, Mayday, we got to do this. I thought that was funny. I love these last minute scrambles at the end of like, you can tell when the sun's about to go down and it's like getting darker. That's when they have to go to tribal council. So you can tell like just how late these plans actually are in like the grand scheme of things. So I like seeing this like last minute scramble by all the players, especially the last 2 weeks. Been Hunter kind of causing this. thinks he's gonna play his idol. And then they're all like, is he bluffing? Is he being for real? Turns out that most of the stuff about Ben, and I guess, well, the Tiffany thing was nipped in the bud pretty quickly, but it's basically going to be Hunter or Q. Well, that's what it ends up being. So I don't know if they never believed Hunter, or he was just trying to bluff. Maybe they thought he was bluffing. Maybe it's like a 4D chess thing. But his play here is kind of frantic, and he's scrambling, which I think you compare how Tiffany gets the votes off her pretty easily with just being chill, and then you compare Hunter being frantic as hell. We can tell which move strategically you'd rather do. I think it's Tiffany. I mean, Hunter, I think, kind of crashes the game here with the way he's scrambling. I don't think it was good at all. I thought maybe there was a chance of it working just because everything kind of seemed to go crazy at that point, but maybe that's just editing. So we go to Tribal Council, where we have Spicy Jeff, I guess, when he's just being a goofball. He's like, let me pull up a cushion. And yeah, why haven't you put a cushion under your seat for like 46 seasons, bro? Everybody's sitting on like fucking hardwood. Thought that was a little bit funny. And then he's got popcorn. And he takes like maybe a bite. I don't even know if he took a bite, but he's like, I don't know. I guess he likes these guys so much he's gonna bring them like this little thing, whatever you call that, of popcorn. And they're like, can we have it? Can we have it? Of course he gives it to him. Poor Liz is like the 11th or the like last person to eat the popcorn. Like, she hasn't eaten in 72 days. Good for her. She had fucking 3 kernels of popcorn. I'm sure she's well nourished now. Jeff takes a moment to recognize her. I thought that was funny. And then we get another huge blow up between Q and Tiffany at Tribal Council. I'm here for the drama. So people online, I stayed away from the internet so I wouldn't get spoiled on what happened, even though I saw Jeff's dumbass podcast on my Instagram first thing. But I saw that people were saying this is like the first Tribal Council fight in a while. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I enjoyed it. These Tribal Councils have really been better since the new era began. It was kind of this like jargon of just like saying a bunch of metaphors that don't mean anything, and no one actually like say anything about the game. But I feel like in 46 and mostly 45, they're actually like saying important shit, and that's what makes Tribal Council great, is being able to air out all your grievances. Again, everyone's just freaking bashing on Q. Hunter, the whole Tribal Council is just like tweaking out in the corner. He's like, is it me? Is it me? He's like asking Venus. He's like, get Liz, is it me? And Kenzie's just playing him right next to his face, which I thought was funny and respectable by Kenzie. She's like, he's always like, is it me? Is it me? He says it to her like 4 times, and she's like, no, it's Q, trust. And I guess he ends up trusting her enough. And I'm like, dude, Hunter, you're so fucking tweaked out. Play your idol, bro. You have something to move on to the next round. But he ultimately doesn't play his idol. So we get to the votes, and it is a tied vote, and with 4 votes for Hunter, 4 votes for Q, 1 vote for Ben. And then they revote. Everyone votes out Hunter on the revote. Hunter leaves with an idol in his pocket. You're a dumbass. Sorry, but you are. Why wouldn't you play your idol, bro? Not really going to miss Hunter. Didn't really think he had a chance of winning the game moving forward, but the way he played this episode and has played since the merge, basically, I think he was relying on challenges and wasn't that riveting of television. I'd much rather have Q here. I'd much rather have other people who are like strategically smart and making moves and like doing things in the game. And Hunter just seemed to be like one of these challenge types that didn't really know much strategy or wasn't really well prepared strategically. So I went with Miss Hunter. Goodbye. And Q party, baby. Q survives. Love it. I also respect Q for the fact that he doesn't vote for Hunter. I don't know if was shown on the show really, but they're both from Mississippi. Apparently they had like this Mississippi alliance. And so respect for Q for voting Ben. That's what causes the tie. He could have voted for Hunter and that'd be the end of it. But Q in this Tribal Council is like just chilling. Like, he's like, if they want to vote me out again, I'll go up there, get my torch stuffed, and say thank you for the experience. I mean, he's just so funny. But yeah, so respect to Q. Makes it another week. Everyone else makes another week besides Hunter. Hunter becomes the 3rd member of the jury. Just a quick note on the preview for next week. I thought it was funny. Liz calls them all hoe bags. Just thought that was funny. And then So that was a wrap in the episode. Thought it was a pretty good episode again. Survivor 46 starting to deliver and heat up. So now going to my top 3 to win, which hasn't changed at all. I think Kenzie's number 1, but I think this episode she's gone down a little bit, but I don't see anyone really overtaking her as of right now. I just thought her plan to vote Tiffany was really stupid and showed kind of like an unawareness of the game and how like the game meta and mechanics work. Number 2 is still Charlie. I think Charlie's gotten a really good edit so far, and him and Maria seem to be in the best position in the game. No one's really coming after them at all, and they can always kind of switch on a dime. I feel like they have a lot of allies in the game still. So that leads to my number 3, Maria. I think her game position with Charlie. I think no one's really coming for them soon, and Maria's also had like a decentish edit where I could see her winning, but not really. But so she's number 3. But I don't really have any other contenders to win at this point. I don't think Ben can win. I don't think Q can win. I don't think Liz can win. I don't think Venus can win. I don't think who else? Tiffany would maybe be Tiffany would probably be number 4, but I don't really see it. So Maria is my number 3 by default. Game position wise, I think she's bound to make it pretty far and possibly could get votes at the end. My top 3 out next week. Number 1 would be Q. Obviously, he's not the bottom. Obviously, everyone wants him out and doesn't like him anymore and thinks he's like this chaotic energy. So he'd be my number 1 to watch moving forward. Number 2 out next week, I think, would be Tiff. We saw this week where she kind of deceived everyone by saying she was going to play her idol, but she doesn't. Maybe she could get lulled into another sense of security, or a false sense of security next week, not play her idol and be gone. I think that could be a possible move there. And then my number 3 was Liz, just because she's like freaking out in the preview, and I don't know, maybe people get mad at her because people just don't like people who are being chaotic and angry in this season, and anything can turn on a dime. I think Venus is pretty safe at this point. I don't think anyone's coming for her. So yeah, that's my top 3. So I'll keep you guys updated on a weekly basis here. I'll see you next Wednesday or Thursday for episode 10 of Survivor 46. I'm enjoying the season still. So yeah, peace out, and thanks for watching / listening.